Have you ever looked at an old nickel in your pocket and wondered if it could secretly be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars? Well, before you spend that next Jefferson nickel, you might want to take a closer look. Because today we're talking about the 1974 Jefferson Nickel, a coin that many people overlook, but that collectors are constantly searching for. And depending on the condition and variety, this little 5-cent coin could be worth far more than its face value. So grab your coin jar, check your couch cushions, and let's dive into the fascinating world of the 1974 Jefferson Nickel. Now, I have to tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was helping a family member clean out an old dresser that hadn't been opened in decades. Inside was a small box filled with loose change. Nothing looked special at first. Just nickels, pennies, and dimes tossed together. But as I started sorting through the coins, I found several San Francisco minted coins from the 1970s. That discovery sent me down a rabbit hole of coin collecting that lasted for hours. And that's exactly why videos like this are important. Sometimes valuable coins are hiding in places you'd never expect. Let's start with the basics. The 1974 Jefferson Nickel was struck at the San Francisco Mint. The S Mint mark located on the obverse of the coin identifies where it was made. Unlike many circulation nickels produced in Philadelphia and Denver, most 1974 nickels were made specifically for collectors. These coins were issued as part of proof sets. Now, if you're new to coin collecting, a proof coin isn't a coin that proves anything in court. I know, disappointing. Instead, proof coins are specially manufactured using polished dies and specially prepared planchets. The result is a coin with sharp details, mirror-like fields, and an overall stunning appearance. The 1974 proof Jefferson Nickel had a mintage of more than 2.6 million coins. That sounds like a huge number, and honestly, it is. Because of that large production, most examples are not considered rare. But here's where things get interesting. Condition matters. And in the coin collecting world, condition can mean the difference between a 5-cent coin and a coin worth hundreds of dollars. Most proof nickels from 1974 sell for only a few dollars if they're still in their original proof set packaging. That's because collectors can find them relatively easily. A typical 1974 proof Jefferson Nickel might sell for anywhere between $1 and $10 depending on quality and demand. Not exactly retirement money. But don't leave yet, because the story gets much better. Coins that receive exceptionally high grades from professional grading services can command significantly higher prices. When experts evaluate a coin, they look for flaws, scratches, spots, haze, and other imperfections. The fewer flaws a coin has, the higher the grade. A 1974 Jefferson Nickel graded proof 6.8 can often sell for respectable premiums. Move up to proof 69 and values can increase substantially. And if you happen to own a nearly perfect example, graded proof 70 deep cameo, you're looking at a coin that collectors are willing to pay serious money for. Some top-grade examples have sold for hundreds of dollars, and in certain market conditions, premium specimens can bring even higher prices. Think about that for a second. A coin originally worth just 5 cents becoming worth hundreds of dollars because it survived in nearly perfect condition. That's one of the things that makes coin collecting so exciting. Now let's talk about cameo and deep cameo designations because these terms confuse a lot of beginners. When you look at a proof coin, the raised design may appear frosted while the background appears mirror-like. This contrast creates a beautiful visual effect. If the contrast is strong, the coin may receive a cameo designation. If the contrast is extremely strong, it may receive a deep cameo designation. Collectors absolutely love this look. And generally speaking, the stronger the contrast, the more desirable the coin becomes. But wait, there may be another way your 1974 nickel could stand out. Errors. Coin collectors love errors because they make individual coins unique. While major errors on 1974 proof nickels are not common, some examples have been discovered with minor die varieties, striking abnormalities, or imperfections that attract collector attention. Whenever you're searching through coins, look carefully for double details, unusual strike characteristics, or anything that appears different from a normal example. You never know what you might find. One of the funniest things about coin collecting is that after watching a few videos, you suddenly become that person. You know the one. The person holding up the checkout line because they're inspecting every coin in their change. Cashier. That'll be $4.95. Coin collector. Give me a second, I think this nickel might pay for my vacation. We've all been there. Now let's discuss the current market value of the 1974 Jefferson Nickel. As of today's collector market, most standard proof examples generally sell for around $1 to $5. Higher quality examples with strong eye appeal often sell between $10 and $50. Professional graded examples in proof 69 deep cameo condition can bring significantly more depending on demand. And top population examples with exceptional quality may reach hundreds of dollars at auction. The key takeaway is simple. The average 1974 Jefferson Nickel isn't rare. But exceptional examples absolutely attract collector interest and premium prices. This is why grading and condition are everything. If you believe your coin is unusually well preserved, free of spots, and has outstanding mirror surfaces, it may be worth having it evaluated by a 1978 D. Jefferson Nickel coin value. Could this common nickel be worth more than you think? Have you ever looked at a nickel in your pocket and wondered if it could secretly be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars? Most people ignore nickels. They toss them into jars, leave them in cup holders, or forget about them completely. But what if I told you that one specific nickel, the 1978 D. Jefferson Nickel, has surprised collectors for decades and that some examples have sold for far more than their face value? Before you spend that old nickel, you might want to watch this entire video because one small detail could make all the difference. Welcome back to the channel, where we uncover coins worth money and help you spot hidden treasures that may already be sitting in your pocket change. Today we're taking a close look at the 1978 D. Jefferson Nickel, its value, what makes certain examples special, and what collectors are paying for them right now. Let's jump right in. The 1978 D. Jefferson Nickel was produced at the Denver Mint, which is why you'll see the small D mint mark on the coin. In 1978, the Denver Mint struck more than 313 million Jefferson Nickels. That's a huge number, which means these coins are generally considered common. Now I know what you're thinking. If over 300 million were made, how can this coin be worth anything? Great question. The answer is simple. While most 1978 D nickels are only worth a few cents above face value, condition is everything in the coin collecting world. A common coin in ordinary condition may be worth almost nothing, while the exact same coin in exceptional condition could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. It's kind of like finding an old baseball card. Millions may have been printed, but finding one that's perfectly preserved is a completely different story. The obverse, or front side, features Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States. The reverse shows Jefferson's famous home, Monticello. The Jefferson Nickel series has been a favorite among collectors for generations because it combines American history with the excitement of searching for rare varieties and high-grade examples. Now let's talk about value. If your 1978 D. Jefferson Nickel has been circulating for years and shows normal wear, it's usually worth between 5 cents and maybe 25 cents. Not exactly retirement money, but don't click away yet. Things get interesting when we start looking at uncirculated examples. An uncirculated 1978 D nickel means the coin never entered regular circulation and retains much of its original mint luster. Coins graded around MS-63 or MS-64 often sell for just a few dollars. Still nice, but not life-changing. However, once you move into higher grades, prices can rise dramatically. In grades such as MS-66 and MS-67, collector demand increases because truly pristine examples become much harder to find. Some high-grade 1978 D. Jefferson Nickels have sold for hundreds of dollars at auction. And here's where things get really exciting. A top population coin graded MS-68 by professional grading services has sold for well over $1,000. Imagine that. A nickel worth 5 cents turning into a 4-figure collectible. That's enough to make anyone start digging through old coin jars. Speaking of coin jars, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was helping a family member clean out a garage. You know, the kind of garage where nobody has touched anything since dinosaurs roamed the earth. In the corner was an old coffee can packed with loose coins. I wasn't expecting much, but being a coin enthusiast, I started sorting through them anyway. Most were ordinary pocket change, but the excitement came from the possibility. Every coin felt like a lottery ticket. While I didn't find a rare million-dollar treasure, I did discover several collectible coins worth far more than face value. That experience reminded me of something important. You never know what you have until you take a closer look. And that's exactly why collectors continue searching through rolls of nickels every day. Now let's discuss full steps nickels. If you've spent any time around coin collectors, you've probably heard the term full steps. On the reverse of the Jefferson Nickel, Monticello has steps leading up to the building. When those steps appear fully visible and sharply struck, grading services may designate the coin as full steps. This designation is highly desirable because it indicates exceptional strike quality. A 1978 D Jefferson Nickel with full steps can command a substantial premium compared to an ordinary example of the same grade. Collectors love these coins because they're much harder to find. Think of it like buying a standard car versus a fully loaded luxury model. Both get you from point A to point B, but one attracts a lot more attention. Another thing collectors should watch for is mint errors. Although major errors on 1978 D nickels are relatively uncommon, they do exist. Look for off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, clipped planchets, and other unusual minting mistakes. Error coins can attract significant collector interest because every error tells a unique story about what happened during the minting process. If you think you found an error, don't clean the coin. Seriously, cleaning a coin is one of the fastest ways to reduce its value. Collectors generally prefer original surfaces, even if the coin looks old or toned. A cleaned coin can lose a substantial portion of its collectible value. It's like trying to improve an antique by sanding it down. What seems like an improvement often destroys the very qualities collectors want. Now let's talk about today's market. The coin market has remained strong for quality certified examples. Collectors continue pursuing high-grade Jefferson Nickels to complete registry sets and improve their collections. As a result, top-condition 1978 D nickels remain highly sought after. Current market values generally look something like this. Circulated examples usually range from face value to a few cents above face value. Lower uncirculated grades often sell for a few dollars. Premium gem examples can reach tens or even hundreds of dollars. Elite certified examples with exceptional grades and full steps designation can sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on demand and auction activity. The key lesson here is that grade matters. Two coins that appear identical to a beginner can have dramatically different values in the collector market. That's why serious collectors often use professional grading services to authenticate and evaluate their coins. So how do you know if your 1978 D nickel deserves a closer look? Check for strong luster. Look for minimal contact marks. Examine the Monticello steps carefully. Search for unusual errors or varieties. And compare your coin to certified examples online. You may discover that what looks like an ordinary nickel is actually a collectible piece worth far more than 5 cents. The best part about coin collecting is that the hunt never ends. Every handful of change could contain a surprise. Every old piggy bank could hide something special. And every coin tells a story. The 1978 D Jefferson Nickel may not be the rarest coin in America, but in exceptional condition, it proves that even common coins can become valuable treasures. So before you spend that old nickel, take a second look. You never know what might be hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn about more coins worth money, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. And here's your challenge. Check your pocket change today and let me know in the comments if you found a 1978 D Jefferson Nickel or any other interesting coin. Who knows? Your next great coin discovery could be sitting in your pocket right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll uncover even more hidden treasures that could be worth serious money. Have you ever looked at a nickel in your pocket and wondered if it could secretly be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars? What if I told you that a simple 1981 Jefferson Nickel with no mint mark might be hiding a surprising value that most people completely overlook? Before you spend that old nickel, you may want to watch this video all the way to the end because some collectors are paying serious money for the right examples. Welcome back, coin lovers. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1981 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary 5-cent coin. Most people wouldn't give it a second thought. It might be sitting in a coin jar, hiding under a couch cushion, or mixed in with spare change from years ago. But as you'll discover today, some of these nickels are worth much more than 5 cents. Let's start with the basics. The Jefferson Nickel has been around since 1938 and features President Thomas Jefferson on the front and his famous home, Monticello, on the back. In 1981, millions of Jefferson Nickels were produced across different U.S. mint facilities. If your coin has no mint mark, that means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Back in 1981, the Philadelphia Mint produced more than 657 million Jefferson Nickels. That's a huge number. So right away you might be thinking, wait a second, if there are hundreds of millions of them, how can they be valuable? Great question. Most 1981 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickels are only worth face value. If the coin is heavily worn and has spent decades bouncing around in circulation, it's usually worth just 5 cents. Sorry if you were hoping to retire early from the first nickel you found in your pocket. However, this is where things get interesting. Collectors aren't looking for average coins. They're searching for exceptional examples. Coins with sharp details, strong strikes, beautiful luster, and especially coins that have been preserved in nearly perfect condition can command surprisingly high prices. A few years ago, I was sorting through an old jar of coins that had been sitting in a closet for what felt like forever. Honestly, I expected to find nothing more exciting than some sticky pennies and a few random nickels. But then I spotted a shiny 1981 Jefferson Nickel. For a brief moment, I imagined it being worth thousands of dollars. My imagination was already planning a vacation. After checking it carefully, I realized it wasn't a rare variety, but that experience taught me something important. You never know what treasures might be hiding in ordinary change. Now let's talk about value. A circulated 1981 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel is generally worth around 5 cents to maybe a few cents above face value. An uncirculated example, meaning it never entered circulation and still retains its original mint luster, can be worth anywhere from a few dollars to several dozen dollars depending on its condition. But here's where the market gets exciting. Professional grading services use a scale from 1 to 70 to evaluate coin condition. The closer a coin gets to a perfect grade of MS67, MS68 or higher, the more valuable it can become. High-grade examples of the 1981 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel have sold for hundreds of dollars. Some top-quality specimens have reached prices exceeding $1,000 at auction when they possess exceptional eye appeal and preservation. Think about that for a moment. A coin originally worth just 5 cents potentially selling for hundreds or even over $1,000. That's the kind of story that keeps collectors searching through rolls of coins and old collections every day. Now let's discuss what you should look for. First, examine the overall condition. Does the coin still shine? Are the details on Jefferson's hair sharp and clear? Is Monticello on the reverse crisp and well-defined? Second, look for unusual errors. Coin errors can dramatically increase value. While major errors on 1981 Jefferson Nickels are relatively uncommon, collectors still search for off-center strikes, double strikes, die cracks, and other minting mistakes. If you notice something unusual that doesn't look like ordinary wear and tear, it may be worth having the coin evaluated by an expert. Third, pay close attention to full steps. One of the most desirable characteristics for Jefferson Nickel collectors is something called full steps. This refers to the steps leading up to Monticello on the reverse of the coin. If all the steps are clearly visible and uninterrupted, the coin may receive a full steps designation from grading services. Coins with full steps are often worth significantly more than similar coins without that designation because they indicate a particularly strong strike. Imagine two identical-looking nickels. One sells for a few dollars. The other sells for hundreds because of full steps. That's why collectors spend so much time examining these tiny details. Let's talk about current market values. As of today's collector market, a typical circulated 1981 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel is generally worth face value. Nice uncirculated examples often sell for anywhere from $1 to $20. Higher grade certified examples can bring 50, 100, several hundred, or even over $1,000 depending on the grade, eye appeal, and collector demand. Keep in mind that coin values constantly fluctuate. The market changes based on demand, auction activity, and the availability of high-grade specimens. That's why it's always a good idea to check recent auction results when evaluating any coin. One mistake many beginners make is assuming every old coin is automatically valuable. Age alone doesn't determine value. Rarity, condition, collector demand, and special features are what truly matter. I've seen people get excited over a worn coin from decades ago only to discover its worth face value. On the other hand, I've also seen ordinary-looking coins turn out to be surprisingly valuable because of a rare variety or exceptional condition. That's part of what makes coin collecting so much fun. Every coin tells a story, and every search feels like a treasure hunt. So if you have a 1981 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look. Check the condition. Look for errors. Examine those Monticello steps. You might have something far more valuable than you realize. And even if your nickel isn't worth a fortune, the thrill of the hunt is what keeps collectors coming back. Sometimes the next great discovery is sitting right there in your spare change. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the 1981 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel and want more tips on coins that could be worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. We regularly uncover hidden treasures, rare coin values, error coins, and collecting strategies that could help you spot valuable coins hiding in plain sight. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment telling us the coolest coin you've ever found, and share this video with a fellow coin hunter. Until next time, keep checking your change because your next big discovery could be just one coin away. 1984 P. Jefferson Nickel coin value. Could this common nickel be worth more than you think? Have you ever looked at a nickel in your pocket and wondered if it could be worth way more than 5 cents? Well, today we're talking about the 1984 P. Jefferson Nickel, a coin that most people ignore every single day. But here's the surprising part. Some of these nickels have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars under the right conditions. So before you spend that old nickel sitting in your coin jar, stick around because you might be holding a small treasure without even realizing it. Welcome back, coin hunters. If you love discovering valuable coins hiding in everyday change, you're in the right place. Today we're diving deep into the 1984 P. Jefferson Nickel, its value, rare varieties, and what collectors are paying for these coins right now. Let's get started. The Jefferson Nickel has been around since 1938 and features Thomas Jefferson on the front and his famous home, Monticello, on the back. In 1984, millions upon millions of Jefferson Nickels were produced, making them seem extremely common. The Philadelphia Mint struck more than 746 million nickels in 1984. That's a huge number. In fact, if all those nickels were stacked on top of each other, the pile would probably make your bank account look tiny in comparison. Now, because so many were made, most 1984 P nickels aren't rare. But that doesn't mean they're worthless. The first thing to understand is the mint mark. Prior to 1980, Philadelphia coins often had no mint mark. But by 1984, the Philadelphia Mint was using the P mint mark on nickels. You'll find that small p located to the right of Jefferson's portrait. If your coin has that P mint mark, congratulations, you've confirmed it's from Philadelphia. Now let's talk value. A circulated 1984 P Jefferson Nickel is generally worth between 5 cents and around $1 depending on its condition. I know. You're probably thinking, I watched this entire video for a nickel worth a nickel? Not so fast. Condition changes everything in the coin collecting world. Collectors pay serious money for coins that look nearly perfect. These are known as mint state coins. A 1984 P Jefferson Nickel graded MS-63 may sell for just a few dollars. An MS-65 example can bring anywhere from $10 to $20. An MS-66 coin often sells for $50 or more. And once you get into the extremely high grades like MS-67 and above, things get much more interesting. Some certified examples have sold for several $100s because finding a flawless coin from such a heavily circulated year is surprisingly difficult. Think about it. Most of these nickels spent decades bouncing around cash registers, vending machines, pockets, couch cushions, and probably that mysterious drawer everyone has in their kitchen. Finding one that's still nearly perfect is no easy task. Now let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was searching through a box of coins that a relative had saved for decades. Honestly, I wasn't expecting much. Most of the coins were common pocket change. Then I found a shiny Jefferson nickel that looked unusually clean. At first, I almost tossed it back into the pile. But something told me to take a closer look. After checking the date and condition, I realized it was a much higher grade example than most of the nickels around it. It wasn't worth a fortune, but it sold for significantly more than face value. That experience taught me an important lesson. Never assume a coin is worthless just because it's common. Sometimes condition is everything. Now let's discuss errors. Coin errors are one of the biggest reasons a seemingly ordinary coin can become valuable. Collectors love mistakes because they're unique and much harder to find. For the 1984p Jefferson Nickel, keep an eye out for off-center strikes. An off-center strike occurs when the coin isn't properly aligned during production. Part of the design may be missing, creating a dramatic and collectible appearance. Another error to watch for is a double strike. This happens when the coin is struck more than once by the dies. Depending on how dramatic the error is, values can range from tens to hundreds of dollars. You'll also want to look for die cracks. These appear as raised lines on the coin caused by cracks in the minting die. While minor die cracks may not add huge value, major examples can attract collector interest. Another possibility is a clipped planchet. That's when part of the coin blank is missing before the coin is struck, creating a distinctive curved section missing from the edge. Error collectors absolutely love these unusual pieces. Now let's talk about full steps. If you've been collecting Jefferson Nickels for a while, you've probably heard this term before. On the reverse of older Jefferson Nickels, collectors examine the steps leading up to Monticello. If those steps are fully visible and sharply struck, the coin may qualify for the full steps designation. This designation can significantly increase value. A regular high-grade 1984p nickel might be worth a modest amount. But a high-grade example with full steps can command a much stronger premium because truly sharp strikes are difficult to find. This is one of the first things professional graders look for when evaluating premium Jefferson Nickels. So what is the current market value in today's coin market? For average circulated examples, expect face value up to around $1. Nice uncirculated coins typically range from a few dollars to around $20. High-grade certified examples can reach $50, $100, or several $100s. Exceptional top population coins with strong eye appeal and full steps designations have sold for even more. The market constantly changes based on collector demand, population reports, and auction activity, but quality examples continue to attract attention from serious Jefferson nickel collectors. If you're searching through rolls of nickels from the bank, the 1984p is definitely worth checking. Even though most examples are common, finding a pristine coin or an interesting error can make the hunt worthwhile. And let's be honest, the thrill of finding something valuable in pocket change is one of the best parts of this hobby. It's basically a treasure hunt where admission only costs a few cents. Not many hobbies can say that. Before you start spending every nickel you find, take a moment to inspect it carefully. Look at the condition. Check for errors. Examine the steps on Monticello. And if a coin looks unusually sharp or unusual, consider having it evaluated by an experienced collector or grading service. You never know what you might discover. So, is the 1984p Jefferson Nickel rare? Not in terms of mintage, but in superb condition with full steps or with a significant mint error, it can become a very desirable collector coin worth far more than face value. And that's exactly why coin collecting remains so exciting. The next valuable coin could be sitting in your pocket right now. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn about more coins worth money, hidden treasures in pocket change, rare mint errors, and smart coin collecting strategies, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Leave a comment below and tell me the most interesting coin you've ever found in circulation. And remember, every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth a lot more than 5 cents. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have you ever looked at a nickel in your pocket and wondered if it could secretly be worth hundreds? or even thousands of dollars. Well, before you spend that next Jefferson nickel, you might want to take a closer look, because the 1985 Jefferson nickel has surprised collectors more than once, and some rare examples are worth far more than 5 cents. Welcome back, coin hunters. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1985 Jefferson Nickel. We'll uncover its history, explore what makes certain examples valuable, reveal current market prices, and discuss the rare errors that could turn an ordinary nickel into a collector's dream. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end because one tiny detail could make the difference between a coin worth 5 cents and one worth hundreds of dollars. Let's get started. The 1985 Jefferson Nickel was struck at the Denver Mint, which is identified by the small D mint mark located on the front of the coin. In 1985, the Denver Mint produced more than 410 million Jefferson Nickels. That's a huge number, which means these coins are generally very common. Now, I know what you're thinking. If there are hundreds of millions of them, how can they be valuable? Great question. Most 1985 nickels found in circulation are only worth face value. In other words, 5 cents. Not exactly retirement money. However, condition changes everything. Coin collectors love high-grade examples because very few coins survive decades without scratches, wear, or damage. The better the condition, the higher the value. Think of it like trading cards. A beat-up card might be worth almost nothing, while a perfectly preserved version can sell for a fortune. The same principle applies to coins. A circulated 1985 nickel typically sells for a few cents to maybe $1. An uncirculated example with strong details and original mint luster can be worth several dollars. But here's where things start getting interesting. Professional grading services evaluate coins using a scale from 1 to 70. The closer a coin gets to 70, the more valuable it becomes. A 1985 Jefferson Nickel graded MS-63 might sell for only a few dollars. An MS-65 example could bring anywhere from $10 to $25. But coins graded MS-67 or higher become much tougher to find. Some high-end examples have sold for hundreds of dollars because collectors compete aggressively for top-quality pieces. Imagine finding one in an old coin jar sitting in your garage. Suddenly, that dusty container becomes a miniature treasure chest. Speaking of treasure chests, I have a funny story. A few years ago, I was helping a family member clean out an old dresser. We found several jars packed with coins collected over decades. Everyone assumed it was just pocket change. I remember sitting at the kitchen table sorting through nickels, pennies, and quarters for hours. Most were common coins. Nothing exciting. Then I found a surprisingly shiny nickel that looked almost brand new despite being decades old. For about 10 minutes, I convinced myself I had discovered a rare coin worth thousands. I started mentally planning vacations and shopping lists. After researching it, I learned it was only worth a few dollars. My dreams of becoming an instant millionaire disappeared faster than free pizza at a family gathering. But the experience taught me something important. You never know until you check. And that's exactly why collectors examine every coin carefully. Now let's talk about errors. Error coins are often where the real money is. A mint error occurs when something unusual happens during production. These mistakes can make a coin significantly more valuable than a normal example. For the 1985 Jefferson Nickel, collectors look for off-center strikes, die cracks, double die features, and other unusual minting abnormalities. An off-center strike happens when the coin isn't properly aligned during the minting process. The result can look strange with part of the design missing. Depending on how dramatic the error is, values can range from tens of dollars to several $100s. Another possibility is a double die error. This occurs when certain parts of the design appear doubled due to imperfections in the die used to strike the coin. These varieties can attract serious collector interest. Die cracks are another feature worth watching for. They appear as raised lines on the coin and are caused by cracks in the die during production. Some collectors actively seek these unusual varieties. Now, before you start grabbing every nickel in sight, remember that true error coins are relatively rare. A scratch, dent, or damage from circulation is not considered a valuable mint error. That's one of the most common mistakes beginners make. If your coin looks strange, compare it with verified examples before assuming you've hit the jackpot. Let's discuss current market values. In heavily circulated condition, a 1985 D Jefferson nickel is generally worth around face value. In uncirculated condition, values often range from a few dollars to around $20 depending on quality. Premium examples with exceptional preservation can sell for much higher amounts. Coins graded MS-67 or better may reach hundreds of dollars in the right auction environment. And rare error examples can exceed those amounts depending on the specific error and collector demand. The key takeaway is that condition matters enormously. Two identical coins from the same year and mint can have dramatically different values simply because one was preserved better than the other. That's why collectors use magnifying glasses, proper lighting, and careful storage methods. If you think you've found a particularly nice example, avoid cleaning it. This is one of the biggest mistakes new collectors make. Cleaning a coin often reduces its value because collectors prefer original surfaces. Sounds strange, but sometimes leaving a coin alone is the smartest thing you can do. Think of it this way. A coin collector sees cleaning marks the same way a car collector sees dents and scratches. Original condition is usually preferred. So where can you find 1985 D Jefferson Nickels today? They're still out there. Check pocket change, coin rolls from banks, old collections, piggy banks, and family coin jars. Many valuable discoveries have been made in the most ordinary places. That's one of the reasons coin collecting remains so exciting. Every handful of change carries a little mystery. Most coins won't be valuable, but every once in a while someone finds something special. And that possibility keeps collectors searching. So what have we learned today? The 1985 D Jefferson Nickel is a common coin with a massive mintage, but high-grade examples and genuine mint errors can command impressive premiums. Most examples are worth face value, while uncirculated coins can be worth several dollars or more. Top-grade specimens and rare error varieties have the potential to reach hundreds of dollars in today's collector market. The next time you receive change at a store, don't ignore those nickels. Take a closer look. You never know what might be hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn about more coins that could be worth serious money, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Drop a comment below and tell me the most interesting coin you've ever found in your pocket change. And remember, every valuable collection starts with a single coin. Thanks for watching, good luck hunting, and I'll see you in the next video.